So now, practice meditation is very important in our life, but also important, we have to practice correctly, right? Practice correctly and condense all the method that we have, all the method into a single point. Very important. Otherwise, you practice this and that, so many different things, sometimes very confusion, So, if you have sort of one practice that is really good, makes your mind really change. If we do that, our practice will become sort of easy and very, very beneficial, very effective, So this is bodhicitta. And I want to let you know that there is no even single practice without bodhicitta. Because if we don't have bodhicitta, then doesn't matter how much we practice other things. There is no way to get enlightenment according to Buddhism. Understand? All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas talking that there is no single practice without bodhicitta. Then, if you don't have bodhicitta practice, if you practice something else, that practice doesn't really leads or get enlightenment. There is no way to, get enlightenment. That's why I always think bodhicitta is very important. We should generate the good heart, kind heart, kind mind, bodhicitta. This allows all our actions to become a dharma, the cause of enlightenment and the cause of happiness for all sentient beings. This practice is, include everything, So, whenever I teach, I always want to talk about bodhicitta. Whenever I practice my meditation, first I want to practice bodhicitta. Because I understand the value of practice bodhicitta. Buddhist philosophy point of view, the bodhicitta is so important. The mind training point of view, the bodhicitta is important. So, why we don't practice that? If that is so important, then why we don't practice that? So when you are practicing bodhicitta and you develop great compassion, usually there are two methods, for that. One method is thinking about everybody is equal. We can tell that, right? Everybody is equal. Don't want suffering. One method is that. One method is everybody is equal. What is different? Human beings, animals, all sentient beings is equal in this level. No one suffering, want happiness. So in order to practice bodhicitta, that is the first method. You considering others as equal to yourself. Okay? And that is the very important. And the other method is to thinking about how to transform their suffering into happiness. That is the second method. In order to think that, we need to understand the value of other sentient beings. Can I say that? I don't know. You need to understand how important other sentient beings in your life. Okay? Why? Because the sentient beings, all living beings, who given us the opportunity to putting these teachings of the Buddhas into practice. For example, without the existence of the sentient beings, then there is no way to generate bodhicitta, love and kindness, and compassion. No way to actualize bodhicitta. That's why I think all living beings are very important in our life. Without the existence of sentient beings, there is no way to actualize the Mahayana path, to eliminate all the defilements, all these obstacles, and to attain all realizations without depend on sentient beings. You know, there is no sentient beings, then we cannot develop the compassion. Then there is no way to get enlightenment, because you can't practice Mahayana path, right? If you don't practice Mahayana path, there is no enlightenment. And similarly, we cannot receive even good rebirths or happiness without sentient beings. You need to think really deeply and focus on, when you practice bodhicitta, think about other sentient beings, how important. So according to Mahayana point of view, the sentient beings are the foundation of our practice. You understand that? Without sentient beings, we cannot engage in this amazing practice, the cause of happiness and, the enjoyment, all this. So every single happiness we ever experience comes to us through sentient beings, depends upon them. Period. That's all. If you don't understand that, there is no way to get enlightenment, Buddhist enlightenment. And you can't harm others. We need to think this really seriously. Buddhist teaching is not for fun, This practice meditation is not that easy. We have to change our life, our mind. Otherwise, my root teacher always say, oh, you are, after 10 years, you continually, year by year, you listen, teach, and meditate, practice, nothing changed. Then he said, you always 16 years old. Okay? Last year, you were 16 years old. This year, 16, nothing changed. What is that? What is the purpose of your meditation if nothing change? That means you are not taking your practice meditation really seriously. We need to change, every year, change. Every month, every day, change our minds. So that's why I think the bodhicitta meditation is really important. That's why, whatever you practice, Vajrasattva, you practice compassion, you practice emptiness, you practice dzogchen, without bodhicitta, that is not Mahayana practice. That is not, okay? That practice can't lead you attain enlightenment. Understand? It's clear. It's very clear, no doubt. All this. If Buddhism is good method, or there is enlightenment, then this is, Buddha said that. All the Buddha, past, present, and future Buddha will say that. Bodhicitta is the foundation. So that's why make sure practice bodhicitta. And if we understand these two methods, then it will be much easier to practice bodhicitta, to communicate with our society, and much easier to practice our meditation. That's why bodhicitta is important. I always say that whatever you practice, with bodhicitta. That's why you remember the highest practice meditation is dzogchen. In the dzogchen practice, all the masters, dzogchen masters, say that the union of emptiness in bodhicitta practice, that is dzogchen. Why they say union of bodhicitta? Why they say only practice dzogchen? Dzogchen view is, if your practice dzogchen correct, then you practice together bodhicitta and dzogchen. Even ultimate level, the union of practice dzogchen and emptiness. Understand the bodhicitta. So what I'm trying to say is, bodhicitta goes all your meditate with all your meditate. If you recite a Vajrasattva mantra, this 6-syllable mantra or 100-syllable mantra, if you recite that 100-syllable mantra one time with bodhicitta, you get the same benefit as you do from reciting 100,000 without bodhicitta. Therefore, the amount of purification you get from Vajrasattva meditation does not depend upon how many mantras you recite actually, but on their quality. Understand? Of course, the number has power, right? We say you have to finish 100,000 times Vajrasattva mantra. The number has power, but the quality of the recitation, your recitation is much more important. Understand? So even if you recite just Vajrasattva, one Vajrasattva mantra, how much negative karma, how much these negative emotions gets purified depends on how you recite it. So this is the foundation of all the Buddhist practice. So quality means with bodhicitta. Then there is no doubt. If you practice Vajrasattva with bodhicitta, no doubt. Purify your negative karma. Another thing is, if we practice Vajrasattva correctly, we can purify our negative actions. We always say that, right? But sometimes you would like to understand, how do you know that you purified your negative karma through practice Vajrasattva? Or what are the signs? You want to know that? Yes? No? Yes. Yes, huh? It's not necessarily important to understand the science, but sometimes if you understand that, give you sort of enthusiasm, and confident, more confident. I want to more practice. So actually there are three signs, right? We will experience and we will know that we purified our negative karma. There are outer sign, inner sign, and secret sign. The outer signs, like, it's very easy. You have a vivid dream about Vajrasattva, came to your dream, purify, help your negative karmas, purify that, sort of like that, You have at least a dream about Vajrasattva. And maybe you are in a beautiful place, like a beautiful garden, and you sort of, feel that you understand everything. Or maybe you take a shower, purify your, unclean, and take a shower, and everything sort of become clean. That's also a good sign, good dream. It's not so important, but just want to tell you. And the inner sign, it's very important. I like, the inner science, you develop compassion, love, give rise the genuine bodhicitta. And also very easy to meditate without disturbance. Inner sign. That means you are purifying your negative emotions. And the secret sign, of course, very easy. You recognize the nature of your mind, or understand the union of emptiness and bodhicitta, or compassion, and such, Tibetan Buddhism considered the Vajrasattva practice very important, right? We called Vajrasattva, this teaching, we call in Tibet Digdrep Jong. Digdrep Jong. Dig means negativity. Digdrep Jong. Dig means negativity. Drep means obscurations. Jong means to diminish. So that's what we call Vajrasattva. So when we talk about these two negative, digdrep, negativity and obscurations. So the negative and obscuration, the difference between this negative and obscuration is for an action to become a negativity, there has to be a negative motivation. But in obscuration is not necessarily created with negative motivation. So, for example, when we eat too much and then we get tired or sleepy, then mind that stops us from developing single concentration, right? Is in obscuration. But there is not necessarily any negative motivation behind it. Maybe, but not necessary, Obscuration, right? Negativity, there is a motivation behind it. So now, why we are practicing Vajrasattva? It is because we want to understand the true nature of all existence, right? And we want to know the reality. That is, I think, real purpose of practice Vajrasattva. So in order to know that, we need lots of purifications. In Buddhism, we talk a lot of purification. And we are always talking about purifying the mind, right? And there are many levels of good and bad within the mind. When we talk about this, like maybe you think, I'm talking about only negative things, But this is because we have to understand the negative things in our life in order to know what to clean, right? And the most important thing for you to know is that no matter what kind of negative things you have, all can be purified by the practice of Vajrasattva. Because, we are always involved with other people and very often have heavy karma, right, with each other. We are so strongly connected that we go through our entire lives constantly with other people, and then we accumulate these karmas. Karma could be good, could be bad, right? So if you have bodhicitta mind and do things with others, very good karma. And if we don't have bodhicitta, compassion mind, then whatever you do with other people, not necessarily good karma. So when you do this meditation, we transform ourselves, and we also transform everything, So that's why Vajrasattva practice with bodhicitta is really, really good. And what else? We need to we need to find this is, I always think, I mean, there are lots of students in Buddhism is not your it's really new, right? It's really new to you. So you always confused there, So what should I do? What meditate? What daily practice? All these things. My teachers always say, first you need to find a good teacher with sort of understanding, Once you get that, find that, then you have to follow that teacher. And sometimes you like the teachings, meditations, sometimes you don't, but that's you have to just to follow and go step by step, slowly. There's no hurry. And always you let know your teacher about your meditation, how you feel. Very important. Good relationship with your teacher means, you have to check all the time. And I think that's very important. Otherwise, you practice this and that, and you listen, teaching so many things, and sometimes which one is really good, which one is really not necessarily practiced the first, So just to let you know my thoughts. And another thing that I want to teach you is really powerful. The visualization is as you continue to chant the 100-syllable mantra, the nectar flows down to your heart and cleanse all defilements connected to mind, including, for example, selfish, pride, wishing harm others, and wrong view, etc. And another thing, if you can visualize this whole, whole process, simultaneously, this Vajrasattva, 3 visualizations and chanting, all this you can, recitation, all this you can, that's good, right? That's very good. Otherwise, you can alternately, this is another method, okay? If you are very new and difficult with these visualizations, recitations, then you can alternately between these visualizations, as you recite the mantra, sometimes you concentrate on Vajrasattva, the body, and sometimes you concentrate on the flower nectar. This is really very important. Purify negative actions. Sometimes on your regret for what you have done and your resolve to never do again it, sort of like that. So it's not necessarily do these all things at the same time. I mean, we can't, even though you can do that just slowly. This is also we call mind training, preliminary practice. If you're a beginner, it's a little bit difficult, these visualizations, and then the recitation is so difficult, So just don't worry that. Sometimes people told me that, Vajrasattva is very difficult. The 100-syllable mantra, the pronunciation is, and I can't memorize this, so difficult, and I can't practice 500,000 times. You have to practice 500,000 times. There is no my lineage, you have to practice 500,000 times. I told you the number is also not important, right? The quality is important. But we don't have or all the time 500,000 times Vajrasattva. All 500,000 Vajrasattva mantra is good quality. I think almost impossible for a beginner. Sometimes you have good quality, Vajrasattva, you think really others, and you get sort of real, genuine bodhicitta compassion with recite the 100 syllables, good quality. But this genuine compassion is not that easy, right? Which means you really understand others and so important all living beings in your life. You have to understand that. That is kind of sometimes difficult. Regular people, ordinary people, very difficult. So, teachers say that if you don't have good quality, your Vajrasattva practice, all this 100,000 times, sometimes you have good quality, sometimes you don't. But once you sort of mixed that, sometimes good, sometimes not so good, but you meditate on continually, and then 100,000 times you finish that, then temporarily you can stop and then go to next. Okay? Otherwise, you don't know. If you don't have the numbers, then you don't know when you can stop. Right? You want practice the next, which is Guru Yoga. Right? So, but at least 21 Vajrasattva, 100 syllable, all 100 times. That's every day until you die. That Vajrasattva practice every day. But preliminary practice, maybe 100,000 times. If you finish, then you can move on the next. So, this is really good. Practice Vajrasattva with bodhicitta is really good. I do this practice every day. At least 500. 500, the 100 syllable mantra every day. But for me, it's very easy. Because I'm very fast. Say the 100 syllable mantra is easy. Bodhicitta is not easy. Really. Even though I practice a lot, my main practice is bodhicitta. You think my main practice is dzogchen, but not. If I have a genuine bodhicitta mind, dzogchen is easy. So we need to develop this every day, all the time. And then we also should remember that meditating upon Vajrasattva, the same as meditating upon all the Buddhas. That's very important, I think. And to achieve the realization of Vajrasattva is to achieve the qualities of all the Buddhas. There's nothing different, actually. Because the Vajrasattva embodies all the Buddhas. And you must know that there's no more profound practice than Vajrasattva. So it is very important that each of us realize and accept that we ourselves are responsible for our negative, attitude and these actions. Buddhism, does not believe that someone created unhappiness and suffering. Unhappiness and sufferings are creation of the negative mind. And we diminish the negative mind, we can overcome all problems. Okay? That's the reason why I meditate, because we have made everything so difficult. And however, I'm always very happy to hear when people want to practice bodhicitta and purification, Vajrasattva. It is because the most important thing is improved our attitude and our action, right? You think that most important? That is done through the practice of purification and bodhicitta. That's why I feel happy when people recognize that they need purification. That there is something they can do to improve their life or their mind. That's why I'm always happy, Some people think that, they're always good. Even they do something bad, they, blame others for their problems, right? But that's, I think, incorrect. So Vajrasattva practice really works for us. So, if you recite the 100-syllable mantra, every day, 21 times every day, and without distraction, and with this visualization, which is 4 powers, you can purify every day all your negative quite easily. I think that's all. And we our nature mind is very pure. You need to know that. It doesn't have any problem. So don't need to it doesn't need to purify nature of our mind. But whatever we think, or we do, or we say, causes problem. Because for the most part, we usually follow our negative behavior, what do you call it, the emotions, negative emotions, right? Which are the result of our past negative actions. So, we need to purify every day. That's you need to know. That's I want to let you know. We need to purify every day. Understand? Any questions? Are you sleepy? Yeah?
You said 1 mala a day of long mantra and then 21 at night. Is that what you're saying?
No. If you are busy, if you don't have time, 21 times. Okay? 100-syllable mantra with visualization. If you have more time and you feel fresh, then you can say 100 times. You're welcome. Are you going to ready practice? Yes. All right. Yeah?
The visualization of the nectar coming down, is that said during Vajrasattva home?
No, that's the when you say the 100-syllable. The nectars come from the 100-syllable mantra, which the Vajrasattva's heart center. You visualize that, right?
So it's the second visualization that's happening during the Vajrasattva?
Oh, yes. That's second visualization. All right. We have to say these four power for a measurable prayer. One time. $2.45. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they remain apart from the sublime bliss that is free from suffering. Equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Okay, that's really good. You can correct your motivation actually when you recite this for powerful, for what do you call it, for a measurable prayer. Easily you can correct your motivation. Now, how much all limitless sentient beings, and I take refuge in the Lama, essence of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and the mandala of the ocean of Vajrasattva, with devotion and from the depths of our heart. Who hum the mandala of Vajrasattva for all the fathers, mothers, like sentient beings of the six realms, in order to liberate them, the measure of compassion. I generated the awakened mind, relative in aspiration and action and absolute. I am in my ordinary form, above my head a white lotus, in the center of moon disk and home, which becomes the Lama Vajrasattva, brilliant white with complete ornament, holding Vajra and bell, and bears the concert Vajratopa. I take refuge in and purify our all negative actions. With the deepest regret, I punish them by spirit. From now on, even if my life is just, I shall refrain from the living. And your heart upon full moon is the letter of home, infused by the mantra, resigned on the mantra invokes your good mind. And from the point of union of the blessed proclaim, bodhicitta nectar flood down through this for me and all sentient beings of three worlds. May all negative karma and discorrect emotions be purified. Along with the wrongdoing downfall, be purified from the sentient. Om Banzar Sadhu Samaya Manabalaya Banzar Sadhu Deno Bai Dandado Me Bawa Sudo Yo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anarakto Me Bawa Sarva Sada Me Baryat Sarva karma sajame tsadan hiryang karo hong ha 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 ho banga wana sarva tatangata banzar mame manza banzar bawa maha samaya sado a Om Banzar Sadhu Samaya Manu Balaya Banzar Sadhu Teno Pai Titanda Do Me Bawa Sudo Kayo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anarakto Me Ba Sarva Sarva karma sajame zadam hiryam karo hum ha 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 ho banga wan sarva tathangat banzar mame manza banzar bawa maha samaya asado a Om Banzar Sadhu Samaya Mana Balaya Banzar Sadhu Teno Bai Titanda Do Me Bawa Sadhu Kayo Me Bawa Sabo Kayo Me Bawa Anarakto Me Bawa Sarva Sade Me Baryat Sarva karma sajame zadam hiryam karo hum ha ha ho banga wan sarva tathangat banzar mame manza banzar bawa ma samaya sado a Om Banzar Sadhu Samaya Mana Balaya Banzar Sadhu Teno Bhati Tanda Do Me Bawa Sadhu Kayo Me Bawa Sabo Kayo Me Bawa Anarakto Me Bawa Sarva Sada Me Praya Sarva karma sajame zadam hiryam karo hum ha 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 ho banga wan sarva tatanga banzar mame manza banzar bawa maha samaya sato a. Okay, visualizations. Few minutes. 1 minute. Think about 4 powers. Never do that again. Never do that again. Never do that again. Bandhar sadhu samaya mana balaya bandhar sadhu zeno bhati chanda do me bawa sado kayo me bawa sabo kayo me bawa anarakto me bawa sarva sada me prayata Sarva karma sajame zadam hiryam karo hum ha 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 ho banga wan sarva tathangata banzar mame manza banzar bawa maha samaya sado a Om banzar sad Ya mane balaya banzar sadho teno bai te chanda do me bawa sadho kayo me bawa kayo me Anarato me bawa sarva sada me burya sarva karma sa me zada hiryang kuru hong ha ha hu banga wan sarva tatanga ta banzar mami manza banzar bawa mahasamaya sado you hold a little bit longer than that just to say it, you know. Oh, one more time. Om Banzar Sadho Samaya Mano Balaya Banzar Sadho Deno Bai Ditandro Me Bawa Sado Kayo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anorakto Me Bawa Sarva Sada Me Burya Sarva karma sa me zada hiryang kuru hong ha 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 ho banga wan sarva tatanga tam banzar mami manza banzar bhawa maha samaya sado Deep breath. Just to relax. Breathe in and out. Look directly at your mind. And relax. Very good. 3 more times. Om Banzar Sadho Samaya Mano Balaya Banzar Sadho Deno Badi Tanda Do Me Bawa Sadho Kayo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anarakdo Me Bawa Sarva Sada Me Buryat Hiryang Guru Hong Ha 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 Ho Banga Wanai Sarva Tatangata Banzar Mami Manzam Banzar Bawa Maha Samaya Sado Om Banzar Sato Samaya Mana Balaya Banzar Sato Deno Bai Didanda Do Me Bawa Sado Kayo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anorakdo Me Bawa Sarva Sada Me Baryan Sarva karma sa me zudam hiryang kuru hong ha 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 ho banga wan sarva tatanga banzar ma me manza banzar bawa ma samay sado Om Banzar Sadhu Samaya Mana Balaya Banzar Sadhu Deno Bai De Dandro Me Bawa Sadhu Kayo Me Bawa Sabo Kayo Me Bawa Anurakto Me Bawa Sarva Sada Me Burya Sarva karma sajame tadam hiryam kuru hong ha 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 ho bangavana sarva tathangat banzar mame me mans banzar bhava mahasamaya sadhu okay. O protector, in my ignorance and delusion, I have gone against the Lama protector by my refuge, chief of all the mandala, Vajra of water, embodiment of great compassion, chief of all living beings, in you I take refuge. I confess all my impairments of the root and branch samaya of the body, speech, and mind. I implore you, let me negative actions, obscurations, wrongs, and downfalls, all my flaws be completely cleansed and purified. Om Banzara Sadhu Hong, Om Banzara Sadhu Hong, Om Banzara Sadhu Hong, Om Banzara Sadhu Hong. Om Banzara Sadhu 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 Om Banzara Sattva 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 Sattva Om Banzara 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 Sattva Om Vajrasattva Om. Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva Om. Om Vajrasattva Om. Om Vajrasattva 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 Vajrasattva Om 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 Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Om 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 Vajrasattva To Vajrasattva, we pray, grant us without impediment, obstacles arising for favored circumstance, the fulfillment of our aspiration, and the attainment of ordinary and supreme. As the victorious Buddha of past, present, and future, praise dedication as supreme. So now I too dedicate all these sources of merit of mine for being's perfect good action. Take a break.